So I've decided to do my own little video talking about West Ham, how I feel and how concerned I am about the future of the club. I just wanted to start off about how Moyes is managing the club compared to previous managers and how he's getting on. Well, Avram Grant was considered supposed to be the worst manager we've had in our history. As of last night losing to Tottenham, he's now our officially worst manager. Before the game, he had to get 3 wins, including the Tottenham game, just to match our worst ever manager. And on top of that, he said on his return, winning, that's what I do. And his win percentage since then is 17%. I mean, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? Hardly winning is what I do, is it, David? That's not true. Now, I tried to give Moyes a chance. I mean, before the lockdown, the games against Southampton really did look good. We could have put 4 or 5 goals past Southampton quite easily with a bit more finishing. But this return since the lockdown of games, his management just infuriates me. The amount of times, for example, the Wolves game, every man and his dog knew that Traore is their best player. He's going to cause you havoc down that wing. And we had 3 months of lockdown, and David Moyes' plan for him seemed to me to be non-existent. And Traore would get the ball, and it would always be Aaron Creswell standing off, or maybe I think it was 4 hours as well standing off. No one's actually getting into him, and maybe having a cover man just in case he skips past the first player. There was just no accurate planning there, and no real preparation to deal with Traore. And then it goes on to the Spurs game last night. It's just examples of him poor in-game management. Mark Noble, I mean, I love the guy. He's clearly old, and now he can't keep up with the pace of the game. At the end of the first half, I mean, everyone could see he's out of steam. He couldn't keep up with the other teams, and he was putting more workload onto Souček and Rice and making them run even harder trying to cover him. And then obviously we saw one of the incidents, he couldn't keep up with the Spurs player and he had to drag him down and took the yellow card for it. Now, if that was me, it would have been a simple case of risking Jack Wilshere. I know he's got a horrendous injury past, but everyone knows he says he grew up as a West Ham boy, and we've seen him in the West Ham kit. He was at Arsenal for years. It's common knowledge he hates Tottenham, and he would have had a point to prove. Now, it baffles me. Why wouldn't you put him on there? I know obviously poor injury history, but get some legs in that midfield where Mark Noble is clearly tired. And obviously Moyes decided to leave him on the bench for God, what reason, I don't know. Maybe he's absolutely average in training. Now, the second thing that it was infuriating me about Moyes in that game and choices and not noticing the players. Right back, Ryan Fredericks. I know he's coming back from injury. Obviously, Ngaki has been taking the place, but he's obviously going off to, I think it's Watford. I think most likely at the moment, but whatever. It's another poor decision by the club, in my opinion, not keeping him, but we move on. But back to Ryan Fredericks. He must have got caught out of possession about probably 3-4 times. I noticed I don't know if it was a tactic by Moyes or something for him to get so high up the pitch and support that right-hand side. I must have counted 2 or 3 times, and especially that one with Son on that left-hand side. He completely lost him, and as he tried to make that challenge, fell over, but luckily he was offside, and VAR helped us and done us a favour there. So, if it was me being Moyes, obviously I'm not Moyes, why wouldn't you put Ben Johnson in there? If he's rated higher than Ngakia at the club, and yet Moyes has been playing Ngakia, why wouldn't you play Ben Johnson and give him a chance then to actually build and show himself what he can do? And I don't know what, obviously maybe he's not performing in training either like Wilshere, or maybe he's still coming back from injury, hey. It just doesn't make sense to me. Another thing about the Tottenham game in-game that got me going was, Rice, obviously, as usual, I absolutely love the guy. He was trying to get absolutely everywhere on the pitch. he's trying to cover absolutely everyone. Obviously, towards the end of the game, he got absolutely knackered. And, I mean, if it was down to me in that situation, obviously, I think we was about 1-0 down at that point. It's towards the 70 minute mark. I can't remember if it was 1 or 2 down by that point. I think it was a 1-0 mark. If it was down to me, what I would have liked to have tried is push Rice back into the centre-back position to help him conserve some energy a bit, because he's clearly tiring out. Switch Balbuena onto the bench, and then put an extra midfielder to replace Rice in midfield, so we can get some fresh legs in there. As I said before, I would have had Wilshere in there anyway, so hopefully that would have helped the legs. But, and then another thing that got me, I think personally, he shouldn't have brought on Anderson. Anderson had a poor game against Wolves. I mean, some of the, whether it was bottling out of tackles or just not making the runs, I don't know what's happened to Anderson. I don't know if he's just lost confidence or what. It's such a shame what he's going to lately. He's so off form. Well, I mean, another thing, towards the end of the game when Antonio was getting tired, perhaps why not give a try to Yarmolenko, who's played up front for Ukraine. He played up front for Dynamo Kiev. Or not even that, it's Jandé Silva. Could have given him a go. I mean, I don't know why he's not being given a chance. I mean, even Pellegrini was giving Jandé Silva a go. I mean, I'm making all these shouts. I'm only a level 2 football coach, but surely a professional manager. I just don't understand the logic behind it. I mean, it's not just that. It's the 5 sub situation thing. He's one of the strongest advocates for not having 5 substitutes. He said it in interviews, Sky Sports, about 2 or 3 times. And you just think the players are not 100% fit. It's not the middle of the season. Players will get tired. We've got, I think it was 7 games left. No, 8 games left or whatever it is. And they're all going to be within 1, 2, 3, 4 days. Luckily, we've got a week before Chelsea. It's just like rotate the squad a little bit or use the other players to avoid tiring out the key players such as Rice. I mean, it just 4 hours. It just doesn't make sense to me what Moyes is thinking there. Now, to get on to the case of whether or not you're actually going to keep Moyes, or are you going to take a risk and try and keep West Ham up? Because, quite frankly, it's do or die right now. I mean, as Gio from Hammer's Chat was saying this morning on Twitter, we have a week now until Chelsea. It is today or tomorrow's decision to do it. Because if you're going to get someone in, you've got to give them a week to tell them what you're going to plan for the players and what you're going to do. I mean, for example, Chelsea, in the time we've got a week break, they've got difficult games against Man City and Leicester in the Cup. Now, they should be tired for them 2 games, but are we going to actively plan how we're going to exploit that tiredness? And, well, I hope they do. But, I mean, like, going back to the conversation whether you're going to stick or twist with Moyes, you have to think now, with 7 or 8 games left, sorry, I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, you've got to have to think who would actually take the job if he was actually sacked today or tomorrow. Now, the only realistic choices I think we've got is A, Harry Redknapp, who's been out of the game for so long now. He might risk it for a big amount of money. The main choice I would do personally, if it was up to me, but I don't think it will happen, is Sam Allardyce, because I think he would get a lot more effort out of them players. But again, he's burnt bridges with them. The amount of time he's gone on TalkSport and he said that he didn't have a good relationship with the board on certain matters, etc. However, if you were to give him, say, £5 million bonus to stay up, then maybe he would take it and carry on. Like another, again, you've got to be realistic with these choices and who would actually take the job. Is you're left with some shocking choices like Tony Pulis. Do we really want that? Chris Hughton, another one. Again, he would probably want a long-term contract. He probably wouldn't want to say 8 games and goodbye or whatever, something like that. And that brings the main problem with, of course, is any manager who's got a good CV that has like track record of keeping stuff from safety, or anyone with a good CV out there, they're just going to say, no, do one. Why should we do it? And on top of that, why would they work for Sullivan and Brady when the club has constantly been in the news for drama in the first place? I mean, anyone who follows me on Twitter will know for big time I wanted Niko Kovac to take the job when Pellegrini was sacked, given his history with Frankfurt, keeping him up, taking him into Europe, blah, blah, blah. He's quality manager. Now, I did have a bit of a risk idea for manager, but again, I don't think it's going to be taken by the board. The current under-23 manager, Dimitri Allardyce, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, he has led the under-23 team to an unbeaten season. I think they've only drew like 2 or 3 times off the top of my head, and they played attacking football the whole way through. Now, if Allardyce won't do it, and he says no after all the burnt bridges and whatever, then I would actually be open to promoting Halashko, maybe keep Nolan on board to work with him, maybe, and just give it a chance, because he plays attacking football, which is what West Ham need. And at the end of the day, right now, I'm not inspired by Moyes enough to say, yep, he's going to keep us up. Because I mean, the performances against Wolves and Spurs. I think someone said we've had 4 shots in 180 minutes of 4 shots on target in 180 minutes of football. That is not enough to try and get some points. It falls back again on the mentality of the players itself. I mean, Mark Noble's getting slagged off this week, and rightly so, in my opinion, saying on that interview, I can't remember the exact words. It was something like, we've got some tough games up, and most likely we could lose due to the calibre of the team. And then you've got David Moyes saying that he expects relegation to go down to the final day versus Villa. I mean, what sort of mentality is that at West Ham? Like, oh no, it could go down to the last game. Oh yeah, we're probably going to lose games, lad. Oh, what's the bother? I mean, would you ever hear Kevin Nolan as a manager saying that? Or more recent years, Lucas Neal, oh, we're going to lose games. Oh, no. We might as well not try, lads. You still got go down to Villa at the end. Need someone to say, come on, lads. It's a tough game, and we're going to battle for every point we're going to get here. The mentality of the club at the moment, it needs a whole change. You need someone to really say, grab them, say, look, you're going to go down if you don't sort your lives out. It just seems no one's really giving them the drive and inspiration to go, yeah, we're going to do this, come on. It's just so frustrating being a West Ham fan, so this is going to save me writing about 1,000 tweets, so I do them in a video. Anyway, if you fancy watching all the way through, cheers.